right, guys. So this is going to be a Q&A video, and you know what better place to do a Q&A for you guys based off of the questions that you've asked than none other than British Columbia, Canada. So we are outside of Whistler, off of a beautiful Forest Service road, literally 4,500 feet on the side of a mountain, looking at a mountain valley in front of us. You can't see that, I'll show you later. But so basically what I did is I asked you guys to send in questions that you were either curious about or wanted advice on, or whatever the case is, via my Instagram. And I have a very special guest to help me answer a lot of these questions. This is Bob Corcoran.
What's up, guys?
Or Boblina Jolie on Instagram. We will put it right here. And you'll give them a shout, follow, and we're going to basically kind of run through these questions that I got. A lot of these are going to be obviously very specific towards me, but we'll kind of bounce off each other as far as travel and stuff like that. So let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome, man. So the first question is, what's the longest you've driven without sleeping?
That's a good question.
That's a good one, right?
That's a great way to start. You go first.
Okay, so the longest I've driven without sleeping was actually when I went to meet you in Expo East. I drove 18 hours. That's the longest I've done without sleeping. And the only reason I did that is because it started to rain and I didn't want to set up camp in the rain. Otherwise, I stopped before dark and set up camp. We were just talking about that, actually.
Yeah.
So,
mine was 27 hours. And that was a couple years ago for Jeep Beach. I had left Michigan, and it should only take about 24, but with fuel stops and driving a Jeep on big tires, it equaled out to be about 27. It was me and my brother, and
yeah.
By the end of that trip, the last hour, I was seeing zoo animals on the side of the road and thinking that the trees were going to eat me.
Yeah. All right, yeah. The next one, you're going to have a good doing this one. Doing a road trip cross country starting from Jersey, what are the must-hit states? Because you just did that. He just did this trip.
Oh my God, that's a real question?
Doing a road trip cross country starting from Jersey, what are the must-hit states?
That's awesome. So I just came from Wildwood, New Jersey, all the way across the country to Leavenworth, Washington, and then up to British Columbia, Canada. The must-hit states. You have to hit Montana. You have to, it depends on what part of the country. Go to the Pacific Northwest. That's where I just went and where I'm at.
Yeah.
And so you have to hit Montana. You have to go through Idaho. If you got time, drop down and go through Oregon, because Oregon is incredible. And then just hit South Dakota and see Mount Rushmore. I got to see Mount Rushmore. I'm fortunate enough. I've seen Mount Rushmore twice now.
I wish that's on my bucket list.
Yeah, it's legit. It's pretty incredible. Overall, though, I mean, the drive gets incredible when you start hitting those really, really west, way up there states that really don't get talked about a lot because, one, there's not a lot of people out there. Two, it's a lot of farmland. And three, it's really hard to drive through sometimes because it's either terribly rainy, super snowy, or just long stretches of highway and not a lot of people go up there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one is, I'll start putting who asked the questions. From Geo Pete, what's going on in Whistler? I'm sorry, what's got you going to Whistler, Calgary, Alberta on your way back, ? So we are in Whistler because we just left the Northwest Overland Rally in Leavenworth, Washington last weekend, and I guess its sister show is the
BC Overland Rally.
The BC Overland Rally. So this is the first time for both of us to be, one in Canada for me, but at this specific event. So that's why we're here, and Bob and I we elected to drive a couple of days early.
Yep.
To do as much adventuring as we could, because starting tomorrow through Sunday we're basically gonna be parked inside of a booth on some piece of property and we can't go anywhere. So
exactly.
Alberta on your way back, maybe we will see if I can make that work. Panda Nation 48, do you just enjoy the drives and events you go to, or do you have a media obligation too? Man, that's a good question. That's
a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Bob actually might help me answer this. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a media obligation. Would
Yeah,
you?
I would say there's no media obligation. Me, on the other hand, I do this full time. I travel full time, driving around the country doing Jeep shows, specifically Jeep shows.
Yeah.
Getting out there to the overland shows is something that we're starting to get into. And it's just, so I do have media obligations, things I've got to take pictures of, stuff like that. But my media obligations are very unique in the regard of, I only have one rule in really one direction, which is make it real. And that's the best way to describe it. Chase, on the other hand, he's out here doing this just because he loves it. I am too, don't get me wrong. I turned a passion into a career, but Chase is on that road. He also owns a gym. He does all this other cool stuff, and you can finish that question.
Yeah, you know, I grew up tent camping, and you know, I wouldn't say I feel obligated to share my experiences on the sheer fact that I want to help, or I want to hope to encourage and motivate you to. It doesn't have to be sitting on the side of a mountain somewhere, but you know, get out and do things, even if it's with your family and in the town that you live in, or whatever the case is. But like, that to me is a media obligation. I feel like it's my duty to share my experiences, so that way maybe you can, you know, do things like that with, you know, for yourself, with your family. So that would be my own obligation to myself, maybe. I guess that's
it's a good answer.
Right?
I mean, how often do you hear the question of, hey, man, I wish I could go there. How do I do that?
Yeah.
It's simple. You just
wake
up and go.
Yeah, that's straight up. Let's see, what's the next one? Taco Badger, your backseat delete, would you recommend to have when traveling with your dog? Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's basically why I did it. That doesn't really pertain to Bob. However, he does go to jail, and he folds all his back seats down and puts a whole bunch of awesome Hingle coolers in the back and Rip superchargers and all kinds of cool stuff like that too. So Surge 26, will you be making shirts? If you guys keep watching and supporting, you know, I'll be more than happy to make some awesome apparel.
I'd buy a shirt.
Yeah, you know, so like I don't want it to be very like Adventure Overland branding. I think, you know, more like lifestyle stuff that we could wear on things like this. And yeah, that's definitely in the future. Let's see what else we got. This is a good one. Hawaiian Punch, how many miles and gas tanks did you go through on this trip so far?
Ooh, that's a good question too.
I actually haven't calculated that up, which I need to do. We'll just go with a lot, you know. And yeah, the Tacoma gets on average 13 miles per gallon, you know, so we did 3,000 miles divided by 13. You know,
still got to do another 3,000 back.
Still got to do another 3,000 back. So, you know, kind of do some math there.
The trip I just took, which was about a month ago, where I went from New Jersey, again, no, not New Jersey, Nashville, Tennessee, up to Ohio, and then all the way around the country down to ending in Sevierville, Tennessee. I went as far north as Spokane, Washington. Again, 6,300 miles.
That's crazy.
50 fill-ups is what I had. And almost $2,500 in gas.
That's crazy, man. Yeah,
premium nonetheless with that supercharger.
I can tell you that you know, and this is not all gas, but you know, between eating, snacks, grocery stores, a couple stops here and there, you know, I've spent about $1,200 so far since I left my house. So, you know, it's definitely not a cheap hobby.
No.
You know, but
you could buy drugs, or you could buy gas.
Yeah, but again, this is very extensive. Do something in your hometown. Go within 30, 40 miles from your house. Have fun. There's plenty of things to do. I promise you. I can't tell how many times I talk to somebody that's never left their hometown.
Yes, sir. That to me is hilarious. Like
what?
Dude, I didn't even grow up traveling. Like I started traveling when I was like 18 years old.
Yeah. And
that was because I bought a Jeep Wrangler. And now I laugh when people tell me, "Oh yeah, I've never left my hometown." I look at them and go, "Why?"
That blows my mind.
Like,
because that's like very common that I get that.
Yeah, like if you have 2 days off, do you know where you can get in 48 hours? It's just, for me, in 48 hours I can get all the way to California.
That's crazy.
and then hang. Even if I hung out for another 24 hours, which is one whole day, I'll drive back and be happy with it, because I left, saw something I didn't know existed, and came back.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Okay, so the next question is from, holy long Instagram name, The Adventurous of Jess and ... It's too long to show in the thing. What got you into overlanding? Oh, I'm sorry. What got you in the overlanding world? What is your favorite? What's your advice for a newbie? So what got me into overlanding? What's my advice? Gosh. So overlanding is a word, you know, it's vehicular camping. It's camping essentially for me, you know.
It's also referred to as glamping.
Glamping. I mean, there's so many terminologies for it.
Instagram campers.
Yeah, I mean, overlanding is just what's kind of gone viral, and on a business and marketing standpoint, that's what's getting pushed right now. But you know, like, you know, any advice would be have fun. Figure out what you like to do, whether it's fishing, hunting, if you like to do, you know, some, you know, mudding, rock crawling, you know, if you like to sightsee, whatever it is that interests you, do that. And like, you'll start to figure out, like, you know what, I could probably benefit from having X component or X accessory. You know, I think a lot of guys on Instagram and social media now, it's who has the most accessorized rig. Like, that's BS. Like,
I agree.
You know, you can, we could have got here in a stock Tacoma.
Yeah.
You don't need
stock Tacoma with a tent.
You don't need $30,000 in accessories on the truck. You could have got here in a stock vehicle.
So why do you have $30,000 in accessories?
Because, like a lot of people, I thought I needed it.
I mean, that's a great question though. If you think about it, like, dude, you've got a badass truck.
Yeah.
And the thing is I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, is there anything on that truck that you would not have on there if you didn't need it? Like, everything on that truck you bought because you saw a need, upgraded it, and went, that's gonna be beneficial.
Yeah. So for me, like, and again, like that's what I was saying a while ago, like, do what interests you. And there's been times where it's like, you know, I've gone somewhere and you know, I would benefit from a little more ground clearance. I would benefit from a little smoother ride. I would benefit from having a little more room in my tent. I would benefit from having a better stove. You know, like, camping for me, and I think for a lot of people, is it's one extreme or the other. It's either super enjoyable or miserable. There's not a whole lot of in between. You know, like, having the right gear makes that difference, you know. And like, you can be over geared and carry way too much crap that you won't probably actually, you won't even take it out of the truck, you know. So like, simplify as much as you can, but take what you need and get what is going to make it more enjoyable, you know. I think that's a good answer, right? That's
a great answer. Like, with my setup, like, I have a Jeep on 40-inch tires.
Ooh, pop up.
With a rooftop tent, and you know, I'm a minimalist when it comes to the way I camp or overland. All I bring with me is some food, a cooler, or something to keep my food chilled, so I'm not sitting there eating warm, nasty stuff or soggy stuff, and that's it. Like, I want to just get to where I'm going, stop, make sure I've got enough food to keep some energy.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Still going, still growing.
Yeah. Yeah. Blooper into the video.
Yeah. No kidding.